My name is Natalja Andrejeva, you probably know, and I'm product designer at Emergn. And I will start talking first, and later I will pass stage to Aivis, who greeted you, our JavaScript practice lead. And basically, I think I started this topic, so sorry for not being there. And over the past year, I've dedicated a lot of efforts to design system development that we do at Emergn, and I can talk about it for hours. But today I will try to keep it short and focus on highlights and insights. Do you hear me well now?
Yes.
Good. All right. Let's break down our agenda for today. First, we will explore what design system is, typical design systems. Then we will dive into challenges and benefits for business. After that, we will explore design tokens and our development process. And finally, we will wrap up with a demo of our own Infinity design system, and we will watch design tokens in action. Okay, so what design systems are? Think of it as a toolbox with reusable components, guidelines, and assets that bring consistency and coherence to a product user interface. The concept originated like 50 years ago by IBM. And in 2010s, it got popular again, specifically in digital. Remember Google's material design, Metro. Remember Microsoft had Metro. It was really awesome. And of course, IBM's Carbon design system. I hope to learn more about that Carbon adoption from the other speaker later today. Okay, so next slide. Now you might wonder, how does a design system is different from a typical UI kit, because we all know these typical UI kits. The key distinction lies in scale. So design system consists of a lot of stuff. So first, of course, this is brand visual styles and some foundations. Then design libraries and UI components, UI patterns. Then documentation and guidelines, developer sandbox, and the latest and the famous buzzword, design tokens. We will explore that really short. But first, let's focus on the challenges that product teams often face and how design systems can help. I will focus on marketing and IT primarily. The first, let's highlight topic that marketing department and design teams deal with. Some of these are concerns about user experience, accessibility, visual consistency across various devices and viewports, and also marketing, probably they have to deal with making audience of the product grow. Now, speaking of IT departments and product owners, they often face challenges simultaneously, releasing and adopting new features, constantly dealing with fixing old known issues. We all have that, right? Doing rapid prototyping while ensuring scalability. And usually IT do that. They maintain documentation, and this takes a lot of efforts. And last thing is, if the company is multi-branded, both marketing and IT face these challenges because they need to support these multiple brands that may look really different and behave different, but anyways, they share the same components in ground. Okay, so I would like to focus a little bit more on accessibility. So today's design systems include tools to measure and track accessibility metrics. Increased accessibility opens door to a broader user base that would affect company revenue positively. So this is something that marketing department would embrace, right? Especially thinking of European Accessibility Act that coming into effect in 2025, being compliant with accessibility standards becomes even more crucial. And design systems help us efficiently measure and track these accessibility metrics, aiding designers and developers ensuring compliance with WCAG standards and meeting legal requirements in different regions, starting from components growing to UI patterns. And also, I would like to highlight that if a product is considered a public service or wants to do business with the government institutions, they also have to start thinking of accessibility, because in 25 it will be required. It's basically law that is coming soon. Gains for development IT departments. So design systems allow developers to focus on functionality, and building UI and features becomes easier, and trying out ideas, including prototyping, also gets faster. And a product will likely have fewer bugs on component level because we focus on them so much, and also reducing the need of extensive code changes. Design system make it easier to maintain and update products designs globally. So basically it's less writing and more doing. And also, last but not the least, design systems really improve collaboration between developer teams and design teams. And because of this knowledge sharing, there are no situations where we have people that hold some unique knowledge or experience, since everything related to design and development is documented and synced. So this is very, very important, because I know probably all of us have dealt with situation when someone leaves company and documentation leaves with them. So like a bus situation. All right, now few insights. Some of big companies share their experiences with design systems, and they are pretty good. So Airbnb said that using design system made their design and user experience more consistent. It also helped to speed up the development processes, making things happening faster. Salesforce mentioned that their design system and development teams now work better together. It also made building user interfaces quicker because they have a set of components and guidelines to follow. Atlassian talked about how using a design system helped them work faster and keeping consistent look in their products. So they love reusing components and having a clear design style. And they also believe that this is one of the key factors of their success. And the last one, Shopify, said developers could create and release new features up to 3 times faster because of their design system, and it made their development process smoother and more streamlined. So these examples show that using design system isn't just a trend, it's making a big differences for these huge companies that I guess we all respect. And by the way, all of these except Airbnb are open source, and you can Google them and check how they look, what guidelines do they have, components. They also have it on Figmas. So these are very, very nice examples, and I'm happy that they shared their experience. Now we would also like to share some metrics with you that we have. So we have a product called VFQ. It's our learning platform all Emergn employees have access to it, but it is B2B service. So it's a learning platform mostly for businesses. And here are a few key factors that made us think that design system was very, very worth investing into. So new bugs amount decreased by 27%. We could release new features much faster with fewer bugs. Accessibility score was high, but it got even bigger, and amount of code decreased. For example, we had 26 model dialogues, and we can talk that before we had approximately 25,000 lines of code, and after factoring it was slightly above 4,000. So this is huge improvement, I guess. And time spent on features went down, and we could do more. We could spend more time on UX researches, like user interviews, etc. So our experience shows that having design system is really beneficial and made a big positive difference for PFQ. Design token. So this is quite a buzzword, and I will try to explain for those who do not know much about it, what these tokens actually are and how they behave. So definition is these are code variables that represent design decisions like color, typeface, spacing, border radius, shadows, all these properties that you can think of. And if you take a look at these two buttons, they look different, right? But behind the scenes, they share the same design tokens, same properties. So these tokens share the same properties with different values, which make these buttons look unique. So how it works? We create components like these buttons in Figma, and we assign them these special tokens that describe their look, like color, spacing, padding, radiuses, and so on. And we have that special tool that lets us creating and applying these tokens values directly in Figma. And this tool, this plugin also helps us to pass this directly to developers, to GitHub, and make it sync and get these tokens back from developers as well and apply it on Figma. So it works both ways, actually. Let me dive even more deeper. This might be actually useful if you think of implementing design system into your product. So you can take a photo of this slide because probably designers will find it useful. And this is about token structure. We spent quite amount of time thinking of perfect naming for these, and finally we got there. But so they are not sorry. So these tokens carry info about components, parts, states, sizes, order, and more. Probably you can see from that. I will explain it a little bit more just in seconds. And from the token name, you can also tell what it is about. So you don't see anything that, any visual component here, but you probably can guess, right? And to make this tokens name structure clear and consistent, we have that special place. We organize them in Notion, where we organize all possible values and keep them in specific order for consistency. And this ensures that all tokens names follow the same logic and are easy to understand both for designers and for developers. Now, let's talk a little bit more about token structure and why I have these 3 tokens here. So, 4 tokens. This is high-level tokens. that define the overall visual language and values. And these are very basic, that describe raw values, simple and foundational, like 0, 100, red color, or I would say FFFFF, something like this. So they don't say anything specific. These are just collection of values. Semantic level, these mid-level tokens define the application purpose. So we take tokens from core level and add them some meaning. For example, we might specify the default border radius without saying exactly what the value is. So here we have brand accent default, and from this name you can't really tell what this color actually is, but you can probably guess that it is some accented color for default state, right? And sorry. And the last level, component-specific tokens, specific to individual UI components. So these are most detailed tokens where we might be very, very super specific, where we may specify border radius for buttons or input fields, connecting them to semantic level token. And we have these 3 levels of tokens that are linked between. This means if we want to change the border radiuses for all buttons, then we only need to adjust semantic connection. That is just like having a master switch. And we don't need to specify these radiuses or whatever on every individual button, field, or whatever. We just have to specify it once. And I know this might probably look a little bit overcomplicated if you're never read anything about these tokens and how they are structured, but it actually makes sense to have this complexity. Here is why. So again, component consistency. And when we specify something like a typical radius or background on the semantic level, we're ensure that all components using these typical properties stay consistent because they all follow the same rule. Flexibility and efficiency. We are building multi-brand design system, and we need to have multi-theming. And this complexity allows us to be more flexible and build branded themes. So it's not only about dark and light, it's about more. And let's say we want to change primary brand color or default radius for a bunch of components. We can do that very easy and quick by adjusting the core or semantic connection. Again, it's like having these master switches that allow us to deliver these themes very, very quick. And collaboration. So this complexity encourages designers working closely with developers. We learn a lot of new things. I mean, designers now learn a lot of new things, understand dependencies, how to create pull requests on GitHub, and also developers understand what limitation we have on Figmas. And when designers and developers speak the same language and understand each other's pains, I guess it's a win-win situation. Next one, it's more insight. So this is our workflow from design development in our Infinity design system, and it goes like this. So design process starts in Figma, where designers work on component discovery and present results to the team. There are sessions where designers and developers discuss how the component should look like, how it should behave, and its features for MVP or progression, and how it can be evolved. And we also consider if it fits different product needs. Just because we try to be multi-branded, we need to keep in mind that there could be various cases, and we shouldn't have our components behave very specifically to a product type. Next, designers design components and after another review, they are ready for tokenizing. So designer creates names and apply these in tokens with Figma plugin that is called Tokens Studio. This plugin has few versions. One is paid, another is free. So everyone basically is able to test free version and decide later if you want to progress to pro. And this plugin also helps us sending these tokens directly to GitHub through pull requests, and designers and developers then review these and approve and merge to develop branch or have a master theme. And documentation, the last part, when component is built and tokenized in Figma, we start writing documentation for component. So we write guides, how to use it, what properties it has, and what to do with it. So clear and concise instructions for everyone. And just because we're building, again, multi-branded system, we're thinking about our customers who might need to read these guides later. And at this point, I'm passing the stage to Aivis because he can explain development part much better than I.
Thank you, Natalja. I will comment on those two last items. Thank you. I will comment on those two last items about Stealth Dictionary, what the role is there. When we receive tokens from designers from the Figma that are generated by Designs Token Studio, we transport them to later be used for the cross-platform development. It can be the mobile web application or some desktop applications. We can share the color schemes and so. As soon as those tokens are transformed, we test them and then release a new version. All this flow represent the theming, how the theming works for the multi-brands or for the base theming where it's used for the core design system development. Natalja, please show us a video. Okay, thank you. High level development. Design system on our side is built using Stencil. It was decision was taken because of the knowledge that we already have internally. We deliver quite quickly. I think in a 1 month, multiple components, and to do that, we used some React developers because of the syntax that it's similar to develop those components later like a web components, yeah, it development was quite fast. And the most important, I think, is because of the web components. At the end, we get the results that design system is framework agnostic. We can use in JavaScript without any framework or with some of the mentioned frameworks, Angular, Vue, and React. Thank you. Please show us the video.
Okay, so let's move to our video. So before I started, I just wanted to say that originally it took 14 minutes, so we split it up a little bit. You don't get bored, and we will have 4 phases. First phase will be design, second phase will be development, then redesign, and then applying the redesign update on the site. So let's jump to it. So design phase. It starts in Figma, where designer takes card component from our library and replaces class with other components that we have built. Now designer makes some adjustments, copy adjustments, and property adjustments. So we need to hide some icons or show something. Instead, we configure buttons, add icons, and I guess that's it. So this is ready for code development part now.
Thank you. We don't see the code, but I think it's not most important. In the background there in the video, developer tried to. You can use the mobile fonts and zoom it, maybe it can help. But yeah, developer right now trying to represent all the what the designer created in Figma on the application level by using our design system components. Maybe that video later can be shared. I don't know. Maybe we will decide on that. But yeah, when the developer make the changes and transform all the stuff what is on Figma, at the end we get a result that all the options, paddings, colors, everything is exactly the same as in Figma. Let's see, let's wait. You see, this is the end result.
But if later something will be changed in Figma, will it reapply?
Can you stop that? Yeah, that happened. Everything is fine. Let's continue. Aivis, come on.
Yes. Okay. So this is again the Figma, and so you may see that designer started this plugin, and they're changing for the radius for inputs, and also changing for the radiuses for buttons, and it will also change button color for blue. Now you may see how many actually tokens we have there. Okay, good. Tokens are there. Now she needs to apply it to the selection, and this is good. Now we need to pass these tokens to the developers, right? And she creates pull requests saying that please take them and apply as soon as possible. And this is the last part, development.
No, I think I will answer your question about the colors. When the colors were changed in the Figma, we took designers push all the changes. Then
Don't need do anything.
Yeah, it goes through all the pipelines, and so we generate those design tokens for cross platforms. Then in this video example, we cannot see, but the developer just pull all the changes, the theming package. As it was local development, there were no dependencies shown how are updated. But I don't. Can you scroll back a bit, Natalja?
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
Designer makes some
Yeah. Developer just pull the changes from the theming and then run again the application, and we can see the blue color without any code changes.
It's possible to see tokens, but it's just a long list.
Yeah, it's
some groups or classes.
Yeah, it's as Natalja previously told. There we have semantics, core, and specific tokens for each component. And by making the changes, we can as in the local environment itself, that there are no need for code changes to make design changes, any design changes, or even those option tokens, it's called. And the thing, even we can version all this stuff in a real environment on a production or to deliver product for production. There are two dependencies. One is the core for the design system, and the second is the theming if you want your own design. You can move forward with the base theming where there are the emerging colors, red, black, and so. But if you use for the development, for the production, you should to apply the changes with the blue color, you should update the dependency. And anytime you can revert back to the old design. I hope I was clear with that.
A little bit, yeah. All of course, version control is.
Yeah. Actually, we will release new theming package, and then to apply those changes, we just need to update dependency, and that's it. Everyone can do that. There is no
bootstrap customized and just connected as an internal library, external library.
on the steroids. Yeah, but yeah, it's how it works.
How does this code generation work? So, as I understood, the designer works in Figma, and the end result is an updated design token package. How does the generation of this package happen?
That was what previously we saw in the flow where Natalja started to talk about the GitHub, and so 12 slides back. where we get all the tokens from the designers with the help of the traditional plugin for the Figma.
What plugin do you use for that?
Token Studio, it was.
Token Studio plugin.
But it's that's not it. To later use all those tokens, you should transform them with style dictionary help. For us, it's a custom transformer. It's not something what come from the box, but yeah.
So basically, Token Studio is used to extract these tokens from Figma, and then you have another layer of formatting so that they're usable by the actual client application.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And that's actually it. This is what we wanted to show you. And we would like to share a few things if you would like to investigate more. So this QR code on the left is linked to Figma community where we shared our workshop for designers getting started with Token Studio for Figma. And we actually built it because we needed to onboard our own designers to get more used tokens. So they have to go through this workshop if they never worked with tokens before. And right after they completed it, we can move on and introduce them into our design system and all the naming conventions, how we create the tokens, push to GitHub, etc., etc., etc. And the second is link to learn more about Infinity Design System. There is another video that is a little bit slower and it's a little more cute. So it also shows how we actually can build something in Figma and expand it to developer. The updates that we need on Figma are received on the site really quick. So basically that's it. I hope you heard most of my speaking. And thank you. And this is opportunity to ask your questions if you have more for me or for others.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Hey, Natalja, you probably recognize my voice. Hello.
I don't see you,
Nikita.
sorry.
It's Nikita. So listen, as a product owner who's actually working on our own homebrew design system, I want to ask you whether you guys are already live with your production products, and if so, what were your major pitfalls on the way there? If it's not a secret, of course.
So speaking from design perspective, these were token names and how we were organizing them and structuring them and making them be consistent. So we created the naming convention, as I mentioned before, where we store all these tokens in Notion, and we actually use this Notion to create new. We have a lot of columns like attributes, properties, sizes, scales, with all possible values that we can add there, and they help us to create these token names. So we have columns with each of these. And this was actually the biggest, the most problematic part of creating these tokens. So we had to create these tokens, and then we ran some project where we was auditing all of our tokens. Then we were creating new token names and applying this. And this is why I said that you might want to take a photo of it because this is the best insight that probably other designers would value. Like,
From development perspective.
Yes, sorry?
And from development perspective, what was
Do we
the...
have some issues with the...
Yes, what was the major challenge? What was the pitfall? What do you wish you have done in some other way?
Actually, I cannot answer on this. At the moment, everything went as it was planned. We still working on design system for some time, and this was the new decision of architecture and how it should work to fulfill all the needs. And at the moment, yeah, I see some technical maybe challenges or what can be improved.
Right.
Maybe it even cannot be called like a technical debt, but technical debt also can work as a I don't know motivation to improve something. Not always I think what is the technical debt is something bad. It's maybe something where you can improve something, some things. But yeah, I don't mention about that stuff. We also we can have some changes or specific product can have its custom components. Not always we use only input and so. And designers and all the workflow can be set up specific for the client, for the specific product and so. We can create a custom tokens and later expose them for the developers that they can use to build those custom components internally in the project level or in specific package and release later.
Cool, thank you. So basically, you went from the demands of your product. You didn't use any like preset kit, like area kit or something like that. Okay.
Yeah, we learned actually quite a lot from the mistakes. That was, I think, the main development process when we started over again.
Yeah. We've also done a few, so I don't want to do any more mistakes there.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you please talk about the collaboration between the designer and developer, like in implementing this whole process, like where one responsibility starts and the other begins?
Maybe Natalja, you can take that.
Yes, so as I said, we have a lot of discussions where we invite all developers for responsible. So, and probably one of our also success metrics is that everyone has hands-on this code. Majority of my team is not based in Riga; they're mostly from Portugal, and so we have a lot of these calls. And remember that workflow that I was sharing, where we start with design phase, then we have discoveries, tokenizing, then sending it to Git, where it basically stops for design. And during these phases, we speak a lot with developers to try to understand how these um, dependencies work, what limitations we are having, what is right, what is not. We're speaking a lot about accessibility and how we can improve it, about touch targets, about these levels, how accessible we want to be. So far, we build, like we have, in terms of contrast and touch targets, we're AAA, so this is very high level of accessibility. We can offer lower level of accessibility if our clients would like to have it on less advanced level. And these are topics: accessibility, understanding dependencies on dev side, dependencies on Figma side. If we, for example, one of the last and hottest topics that we have is media acquired dependent tokens. So, for example, we have some sizes that are media acquired dependent, and we apply these tokens, and we discuss a lot and how do we allow is it media acquired tokens will be applied automatically depending on the screen size, or should we allow these components behave differently on different sizes? So a lot of these types of discussions helps us understand each other pains more, gain dependencies, and simply create this atmosphere where no one is afraid to ask stupid questions, because will have some developers who may ask things that will look silly to designers. Probably designers have a lot of questions that may look silly to developers, right? And this is a very nice atmosphere and quite educating, and a lot of learnings during the last year actually. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you. I'm very interested in that automation between tokens and code, tokens and Figma code that is actually working in production. Could you please elaborate how far one can go in applying this pattern? Basically, starting from font sizes, colors, border radius, shadows, and so on and so forth, ending with complete functional area redesign done in Figma and just converted into code by this automation on this scale. How far can one go?
It's more related to the designers field. You asked the question, or from the development?
Well, I'm a developer, so probably I'm more from that side. But I'm interested in everything.
Yeah, I think it can go quite deep. We don't have any limits. I don't know, but we can change any options and so. About the automation, there were no problems at the moment till this. And yeah, I hope that I give some high level answer at least at the moment for you.
Thank you.
I can say that there are a few limitations on Token Studio plugin, and sometimes it is pretty slow and they're fixing bugs and request new features, and they do that. So they are working on this plugin constantly. And I would actually expect a question about Figma variables, because you probably heard of these native variables that come with Figma, and they are available on all plans, but you're able to send them to devs only on the most expensive organization plan. So some companies who want to save and not, paying more for the organization plan on Figma that is quite expensive compared to this, what mostly of teams are using, but that is more affordable. Token Studio, I guess, is better, and it also allows, at least at this moment, it allows more token types. I think they are adding on Figma. They are adding more properties that can be tokenized, but Token Studio plugin has more properties that allow us to make the tokens and apply in Figma.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
What about pricing for your product?
Can you answer on that?
Price of product.
Actually,
for users, just for users.
you mean for the end user, yes?
Yeah.
I think it's not yet defined. We right now use it for our
Internal, yeah?
not internal, also internal, but for our clients. And we wait for the green light. When
It's not defined yet. Okay.
Yeah, it's not defined yet, but yeah. I will answer. I will add note on the guy who asked about the
How much will
development
we pay?
Huh?
How much will we pay? I'm not going to figure out how much is it.
Yeah.
Can help us,
Between designer and developer, I think it's not a secret. Probably most of you know what is definition of ready and definition of done. I hope. Okay. All those things are defined on the both sides to define responsibilities before we move to the next stage to remove some gaps between communication and so. And we try to decrease all those risks. And I think it's with success right now.
I have a question. So I'm a designer, so I'm pretty interested in how you guys kind of handle all of these platform differences. So, for example, we have a web app and then we have mobile apps, right? So some of them are kind of, let's say that they're native, and those are different guys in different rooms somewhere in a different part of the world. And then you have the web guys. So you kind of want to streamline this workflow that if you change something, for example, on the web, then you need to somehow inform those guys so that they change it. So how do you organize this? Because there's one approach where you have this core team that has all the platforms embedded into it. In most cases, that's probably pretty expensive to have them on the design system team. So then you kind of plug them inside the kind of platform teams probably. So there's a web team and there's a mobile team. So yeah, how do they sync and how do you kind of do it from the code side so it's all consistent?
If I understand right the question, then at the moment we don't have specific packages for the mobiles, but how we can synchronize all the changes. As example, in the video we have a blue button, red, and then we change to blue.
Yeah.
It's because of those design tokens. The design tokens can be
so they're built into each platform, and then you just like push it to the GitHub and then you probably see
you can use on mobile, you can use those tokens. With the help of designers, they can help you to clarify which tokens you should use for like spacings, margins, and so on for the colors. And then you just need to update all the versions. That's it.
Yeah, but then there's like sort of like platform specific parts of that system, right? So there's like some mobile parts that are not in the web and vice versa. So then those are contained in the actual kind of teams or they're not part of the system itself.
So Natalja, maybe you can answer on that.
So if we're speaking about the visual styles, then tokens are just properties and values, right? And correct me Aivis, if I'm wrong, we were discussing these earlier today. We just need to pass these properties and design decisions. So if design decision is that primary color for button is this, and then focus color is that, and full shadow is this, the uncover is different, or active is different. We just need to pass these properties, right? But regarding applying it and where exactly they were applied, it still has to be tested and applied and rolled out mindfully, because we can also introduce some breaking changes while progressing some components and adding features. We may rename some tokens, and if you and our customers were using these tokens already and you rename them while applying new ones, more advanced or whatever, you might have to breaking changes. So we are trying to be very mindful of that. But again, speaking of passing these properties, I guess if you want to say, if you want to define your brand, let's say buttons or basic components like inputs, some other styles, basic radiuses, all that foundational properties, then you can pass it. Speaking of component behavior and how it adjusts to different screens and platforms, now this is quite a tricky question, and I'm not really qualified to answer that. But as we discussed, every component, for example, we have a button group, and it may behave in different manners, right? It can shrink, it can go from horizontal layer to vertical layer. We discussed all these things with developers, if we should adapt the screen always in the same way, or if we allow it to be customized and applied depending on product needs, because not all products are the same. And I just wanted to highlight that we're trying to build a multi-brand design system. We're trying to be agnostic as much as we can.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Also, I can those tokens probably I can answer also add those tokens if we want to use in Aivis document.
Yeah, well, the tokens are shared, of course.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, for example, like components itself.
No, we don't have. No, we don't have components for the for mobile applications. So we can use only those design tokens, all the decision option tokens to develop all that. Then there is need for more communication between designer and developer.
Is it possible to use some tokens between projects?
Yeah.
Connected, yeah?
You can make
just
a consistency.
Changing one shape of a button and changing some products connected, yeah?
Yeah, that's the point, that we can make a consistency. Someday, I don't know, Circle K decide to change all the branding. They can
do quite easily. Brands and just design.
They can have multiple products and they can make changes like quite quickly for all the products, change the theming and the
Change
brand.
every button on every website, just one.
Yeah, even the icons. Even the icons.
Icons.
Yes. Fonts as well.
Yeah, just iPhone, new iPhone, just change everywhere.
So I suggest that we finish it here now.
I still have one question.
Okay.
Again, it's very quick. How you style your components? You using like regular CSS or something processor or what?
CSS.
CSS.
Yeah, CSS3 and so. Yeah. Actually, we try to minimize all the development for all those, prevent use much packages in that, to keep it as lightweight as we can, not to make it rational development, just install all the developer dependencies one by one, each solve some issue, but with that we get additional issues with that specific packages and so on. That's why we try to stay as lightweight as we can.
Okay, let's go into break. But thank you, Natalja and Aivis.